we're here with our second top producer podcast for Gavar, and we're here with the one and only Rima Rafeh. So Rima, thank you for coming. We appreciate having you today.
Of course, thank you.
Why don't I let you kind of introduce yourself, tell us kind of who you are, how last year went for you in 2023 in a slower market than we've seen in the previous years, kind of the volume, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. My name is Rima Rafeh, and I am with DXP Realty. I've been in the business for 17 years. I am a broker associate, and I am a team leader for the Rafeh group. My office is located in Canyon Country, Santa Cruz. Last year, we've done a little bit over 80 million in volume and 160 transactions.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a great year. We grew by 20% from 2022, so we're excited about that in a crazy, challenging market. I don't know what 2024 is going to bring, but it's looking the same. Here I am today, and thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Well, when did this crazy dream of real estate start for you? So take me back to when you were thinking to getting into real estate. What brought you to real estate? What brought you into this world?
Amazing question. Real estate was never in my agenda. It was never a dream of mine to be a real estate agent, a realtor, or broker, or a team leader. It just, honestly, it happened by accident. I was in a job that I hated. I'm not a desk person. I was doing medical billing and insurance, and it was a desk job, 9 to 5. I was bored, going home with no motivation to go back to work the second day, and I wanted something different. So, and I was talking to my sister-in-law, Haria, we all know, and I was talking to her about my frustration. I'm like, I'm not happy, I'm doing it for the paycheck. And she's mentioned, like, why don't you go get your real estate license? And I'm like, real estate license? Like, I don't see myself selling real estate. She's like, go ahead and get your real estate license and, take it from there. If you don't like it, you don't have to practice. You'll have your license. Like, the worst going to happen? So that's exactly what I did. And back in Keller Williams, I started as a receptionist for a few months till I got my license going, and I studied. And this is how it all happened. Got my license, and I switched to be a realtor. And 17 years later, here I am with,
That's awesome. So you had someone kind of talk you into it. You weren't sure what you wanted to do, and you hated where you're at. Well, how did the first year go? Because that first year for many people is a challenge, especially when you're used to a paycheck every couple of weeks. How did that first year go for you? What were some struggles that you went through?
So my first year in real estate was in 2007.
And that's a good year to start.
We all know what happened in 2007, right? I thought I was, before me getting the license, everybody was doing great, selling properties. The market was on fire. Like, I had friends that they're selling left and right. And I'm like, you know what? This is easy. Like, I can get in and I sell 10, 15 houses a year and I'm set. I'm okay. Little that I knew, only few months after me getting into the business, everything kind of like crashed in my face. Like, and I was questioning, like, what the heck am I doing here? Why did I leave a steady job to come into real estate world? That's like, I had no idea what's going on. Like, people were losing their houses. Like, it happened within, like, we woke up and everything had changed, as far as real estate side. So, but I partnered up with an amazing mentor at that time, Harold Hobson. He took me under his wing, and we start kind of like going on appointments, door knocking, and doing the things that we needed to do to generate business. And this is how it started, and how like we kind of
got going with everything. So when you were first starting, you had a good mentor that kind of helped you. What do you think was the kind of the areas of lead generation that helped you sustain and keep in the business? Because as we know, most realtors don't make it past their first year. 88% of agents don't renew their license in California. So that's a lot. So what did you do specifically that first year to kind of go find business and able to become successful?
So what do they tell you the first, when you get your license, you sign up for a brokerage, what do they tell you need to do?
You need to go lead generate.
You need to call.
Yeah.
You need to prospect, right? Cold calling. So I started there, but my accent was a lot thicker, and I was not comfortable with cold calling. I tried it, I hated it, and I even tell my agents, you have to find your niche.
Yeah.
So I hated the cold calling part. People were, hanging up on my face, cussing me out. I felt discouraged. I felt that I don't have what it takes to be a real estate agent if that's the business. Like everybody's hanging up on my face. People are not understanding me. My accent is not great. And we all have that, negative self-talk that we talk to ourselves and the drunk monkey that, hurts us more than it helps us. And so I discovered that, okay, I need to do something different. If I'm going to stay in this business and sustain, my business and make it to the long run, I have to figure something out. Like what can work for Rima?
Yeah.
Cold calling, like we checked it out.
Yeah.
What other ways what other lead generation tools I can utilize so I can have business? So I started door knocking. And honestly, I tell everyone I built my business on door knocking. And at that time, short sale was huge.
Yeah.
And I picked an area, a farm, which was Ana Verde at that time. And it was a ghost town.
Yeah.
And thanks to Frank Donato, he's like, go door knock Ana Verde. Like, you're going to get business. And that's exactly what I did. So I made a deal with myself. Every day, I'm going to door knock 75 homes. So
Wow.
I will print 75 letters and I will drop it. Most of the people, they did not even open the doors. So it was challenging too. And some people, they will open and slam the door in your face because people were losing their properties. They did not want to talk. They thought that we were a scam because they were in a very emotional state of mind. So, but this is what I kept being consistent with it because I liked it. Because the minute people open the door and start talking to me, they start having the conversation and I start being comfortable with myself and my ability of what I was doing.
Awesome.
And I was coming from a place of help because a lot of people, they wanted help. I was coming from places like, how can I help you?
Awesome.
And, that's when the doors start opening up for me. So I tell my agents, I tell any agents, new agents that I meet, like you have to find your niche and you have to be comfortable with it, but stick with it.
So you found a way to come from contribution from everyone when you were door knocking, you stuck in the area. So 75 doors a day, that's a lot. How long were you lead generating per day? How long did that take you?
I did it 3 days a week.
3 days a week?
3 days a week,
Was it like
yes.
4 or 5 hours a day or?
I wouldn't, I mean, I had a target for 3 hours a day.
Okay.
But I would not stop till all the flyers are gone. Whether I put them on the door or I talk to people. I mean, my intention was to talk to people, but as you know, not everybody opens the door. And I had great positive feedback from just flyers leaving at the door.
Wow.
So in the past, it's like, oh, you need to kind of talk to people. But I leave my flyer and being consistent with it, they start seeing my signs pop up. And it's like I start having a name recognition in that.
It's the consistency over
community.
time and people start seeing you, they see who you are, stuff like that. And I think people hear this and they'll think, oh, well, lucky there was short sales in, but there's always a niche. There's always a need right now. I mean, debt is in an uncontrollable rate right now. There's going to be a lot of people that have equity, might not be a short sell, but they have to sell,
100%.
right? There's always a niche you could go after and find. And so finding that in that area made a lot of sense and you targeted it. So what did that first year look like for you? How many transactions were you able to accomplish in the first year and a half that you were doing it?
First year and a half, I would say I sold around 12 properties.
That's great.
Yeah. I've sold around 12.
In 2007.
And 2008. That
2008.
was 2008.
Well,
yeah,
that's even worse.
2008 was worse.
Yeah.
And I landed on a REO account. I went to a REO seminar at that time, and it was a small, small firm, but I managed to close 5, 7 because of my short sale background and my negotiations. So that helped a lot too. And with the REO world, if any of the listeners are know there is the REO world, there was a lot of work involved. Like the BPOs, that's like you have to do 15, 20 BPOs for them to send you one property if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So it wasn't luck, it was hard work. Like I remember being 2, 3 o'clock in the morning doing BPOs because you were in a timeline that you have to turn it into the companies in 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever time they give you.
You said something interesting there that I think is a common misconception with people that are top producers. I have the privilege of talking to a lot of top producers, a lot of people that found a lot of success, and an agent misperception, is they got lucky because of this, or they got that one account, and you don't understand the amount of work that they put in to be able to put that self in position to get that luck. And I think a lot of agents are unwilling to do the amount of work and sacrifice that it takes to get in that spot, the things that you've done to be able to accomplish what you've gotten.
And that's I'm so glad you're saying that because luck. We hear luck, like with every profession, not just real estate. Oh, he got lucky because he has this. She got lucky because she has this. Luck happens to every single one of us. The question is, when that luck strikes, what are you going to do with it? And how far are you going to take it? So that luck will keep going because everyone is lucky. Every day you have a chance. We can call it luck, but we can call it an opportunity.
It's an opportunity.
That we can take it to the next level.
Absolutely. Well, and I mean, to be fair, many people probably would have given up when English is a second language, you're trying to do cold calling and figure out what you're doing. And you're like, man, this might not be for me. Many people would have probably given up, like, well, and used it as an excuse to say, well, I'm struggling with the language. It's too hard. I got to do something else. Instead, you found a way to pivot and say, okay, what can I be good? I'm better face to face with people. I'm better talking to people. I could find this niche, and then I'm going to go be consistent and make it work. And I think that's really commendable. It's awesome that you're able to do that. So through that first year, what are some stuff that I'm sorry, did you want to continue on that one?
No, and I say I tell people now, if I get slow or I have time, I would definitely do a door knock. Because I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's one of the best ways to get in front of people right away. Just go knock on their door.
Go knock on their door.
And I think having there's a lot of fear in that. So when
there's a lot of fear of everything.
It's fear of everything, right? Yeah. It's any lead generation or opportunity creation, or whatever you want to call it. There's fear of the rejection and fear of things. Did you face that fear when you were first knocking on doors?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
How'd you overcome it?
Yeah. I mean, it's a funny story because when I start door knocking, I have fear of, when I was young, I was attacked by a dog. I wasn't hurt, but I was scared the heck out of me. So I had that fear of big dogs.
Yep.
So I remember the first few days of me door knocking, there was a lot of dogs. And I remember one time I wanted to put a flyer on a door, and that dog jumped at me. And I was like, oh my God, this is a big obstacle right there. So definitely there was fear, not just from getting attacked by an animal or a human, because people are crazy out there. But it was the fear of rejection. Yeah. Rejection. We all have fear of rejection. Yeah. But I mean, you have to know that whoever is rejecting you, it's not about you, it's about them, and they have a situation going on in their life. Yeah. And if you don't take things personal, it's not going to affect you as much. So, and if you're consistent and you want it bad enough, you're going to overcome that rejection.
Absolutely. And it becomes easier with the more you do it. It is always hard the first time.
Your skin gets tougher.
You thicken up a little bit. You get callous to the get off my lawn. And honestly, when you're coming from an area of I'm trying to help, and I'm looking for people that need help, not a commission breath agent that's just, who wants to buy or sell, who wants to buy or sell. I think that does make a big difference as well, is when you're knocking on someone's door with the intent of being helpful. Obviously, we want to make commissions, we want to build relationships. But if it's just there for the commission and you really don't care, I think that's going to be more of a challenge for the people, in the future. So.
100%. And every market is different, and every market is challenging, and every market has opportunities. And whether it was in the past or today, you have to come from a place of contribution. And the client has to feel it. The consumer has to feel it. Like you mentioned, the commission breath is it can take you so far. But are you going to sustain a longevity business? That's the question. So, you can make money, but it can be short term. Are you looking for the long term or short term to sustain a business that you're going to have the repeat and the referrals and the people that they're going to raise about you every single time they mention your name.
Yep, absolutely. So let's look back over your 17-year time, and you've had a lot of success over the years. Was there a year in particular, obviously coming out of the short sale market in 2012, and that time was a very different time than 2017, 18, 19, and then 2020 was completely different. But was there a strategy or something during that time or something new that you did that kind of helped you get to the next level in elevating your business? Or did you just kind of have consistent growth over all that time to be where you're at today?
From what I started?
From where you started to today, yeah.
So it's a little bit of both. Door knocking helped. I started early on, honestly, with buying online leads. So that helped a lot with, kind of like bringing that, growing your CRM. But the consistency with it is you have to make sure that you're taking care of the clients and you are giving them a service that they're gonna remember you for life. Like we all say clients for life, clients for life. What's clients for life means to each one of us. What is it, clients for life? Because there is no, as we know, there is no clients for life. If you're not always coming from a place of being resourceful to the consumer, staying on top of their mind, whatever the case may be, agent appreciation, client appreciation, sending them, items of value that they're always going to remember you. That is the only thing that's going to enter their mind when they think of real estate or somebody's talking real estate, they're going to think of you. So client appreciation was huge for me for a very long time. So I would invite clients to my house, have red carpet, catering. Irvin's been in my house for a few times, for my client appreciation party. So we go all out, and they come to my house. They see my family. They see me as a human. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm just like you. And what helped me a lot over the years, honestly, I started social media presence like hardly any agents were kind of like doing social media.
Yeah, you have a great presence on social media.
Yeah, 7-8 years ago, I started social media. That was another challenge. Was I comfortable in front of the camera? No, but I feel my business like really took off by having that social media presence and building that library of a lot of clients now they reference to, like, hey, we saw you online. Hey, we saw your ad. Hey, we saw your post. Hey, we saw your video.
So you almost became became famous in your clients' eyes, meaning, or the economist of choice for them, where they looked for real estate. They just thought of you because they saw you everywhere. They saw you on social media. They saw you when you invited them to the parties and stuff like that. It's an interesting fact that NAR, or a stat that NAR does a survey every year, and they found 88% of people say they would reuse their real estate agent, and yet only 11% reuse their real estate agent. And I think it's a massive gap because agents are always looking for the business today, yet people move every 3 to 7 years, and the relationships during that time mean everything, and referrals and stuff like that. So how much of your business today do you find comes from new lead acquisitions from either online social media, or how much is referral business from just years past of being in the business?
So we did last year, as of last year, I don't know the general numbers, but last year we did 32% came from sphere or referrals.
Okay.
And the rest came from, online marketing, social media, Zillow, and
very cool.
Other sources.
So basically 32% of the business that you did, about 130, 40 deals, whatever you said. So about 40-ish, 50 deals came from your past clients, roughly sphere of influence and stuff over the years. And that's fantastic. That's a great number. Most agents would love to do 40 deals or have that many coming to them just from a sphere of influence business, which is awesome. So fast forward to today a little bit, and you kind of hit on this a little bit with social media, lead acquisition programs from like Zillow's or these Realogy or whatever's out there, not Realogy, Opcity is what I was trying to say. How are you looking at the real estate industry today, and how things have changed over the last little bit, and even since you've been in real estate, and kind of focusing on 1 or 2 or 3 things to really help your business grow? Or are you trying to do 10 different lead generation activities with everything to help the business grow? What are you focusing on in that area?
So thankful to my coaching community that I'm in. Like, they opened my eyes to a lot of things. And that thanks to like being around people who are kind of doing it on a higher level. It helps you kind of like tweak things a little, add things, take away things that probably not suiting you that you thought it was. So my biggest thing that happened in the last couple of years, I brought in an ISA department to my organization, inside sales agents. So basically, I mean, we now, being in the business for 17 years, and we're still, adding leads to the database. Like, our database is over 50,000, wow. Sitting there. So it's hard for one person, 2 person, 3 person, or 10 person, 10 agents, work it on a high level. So the ISA came into mind to nurture and feed and, set appointments and bring more opportunities to myself and my agents. So building that ISA department, having someone dedicated 8 to 10 hours a day to just calling and nurturing the database. So that was a huge, honestly, difference in my business when I saw a big impact, because kind of like fast speed are what we do, and you're just kind of like getting appointments like not handed to you, but nurtured and very warm or hot sometimes appointments, rather than you being on the phone for 2-3 hours. Instead of getting those 2-3 appointments a day, you're getting one or none.
Yep. I think that's brilliant. I really do think the future brokerage is going to look more of who could provide appointments for their agents, and who could provide those is going to be attracting people, not alone just a spot to hang your license anymore. So I think that's really, really smart for you to do that, and be able to do that at a high level. So when you hired the ISAs, this is a topic that kind of gets talked about a lot now as teams have become more prevalent, and it's more of a accepted practice within the real estate industry. How did you go about finding? Because all the questions is like, how do I find an ISA? Did you look at virtual? Did you find people locally? Like, it's a challenge. So how did you kind of overcome that?
Let's face it, it's a challenge to find any kind of hire nowadays. Not just an ISA. We went through a lot of failures with the department, honestly. But what failing got us to where we are today, because we kind of tweaked things, changed things. We thought we're doing things right. My first ISA came from a family member. He was with me for 7-8 months. He learned the system really well, but he did not. I mean, being on the phone 7-8 hours a day, it's hard. It's hard to setting appointments, having the objections.
Takes a special person to be able to do that.
Hang-ups. It's not an easy profession, and it's not an easy position to be in. And I totally understand. I tell my ISAs always, like, I want you to get up, walk, go, like, run, do something, and come back, because it's a lot. It's a lot on them. So the first one came from a family member. The second one came actually from my daughter friend, that he was doing some kind of a similar job in, I think, in Verizon or T-Mobile. And finally, I got an amazing one. That was my third or fourth ISA from an agent of mine, his brother. And the agent that I'm talking about, he's phenomenal agent, and he introduced me to his brother. And I wasn't looking for an ISA at that time, because I had one. But he said, like, I wanted you to introduce you to my brother, and I think he's going to be a great fit. And I'm like, okay, let's go have. I think we had lunch or breakfast that time, and I start talking to this amazing 21-year-old, and he blew my mind. I did not have a position for him, but I said, you're hired on the spot.
Oh, you saw talent and you went after it.
Oh my God, yes. And he honestly, changed our ISA department.
Wow.
To the better. Yeah, he's went to school now. Hopefully he'll come back, but yeah, he's yeah. So my second one, when Sage left, I Indeed ad. I interviewed a lot of people. So
you just interviewed like everybody, tried to find the right fit for it. And like you said, I would never want to do that job. It's incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult. The phone hang up on you and just be, coming from, I feel like you're annoying people or something, and they get mad at you. So I get that. And so you just kept trying to find different people that would fit, and then eventually kind of found people that worked out.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, it's like anything you try at the beginning, you're not going to master it. Yeah. You're going to go through some failures, as long as you're patient to get the right hire, and which we did. And, the one I have now is amazing as well. So,
do you think your ability to conquer the fear of failure has led to some of your success? Because many agents have this big fear of, I can't fail. But you've said it even here, like you tried cold calling, it didn't work for you. You door knocked, it didn't work at the beginning, and then it worked for you, and over time, and you're willing to fail as long as you keep trying and prospering forward. Do you think that fear of failure, being able to ignore it or be okay with it, has led to some of your success?
We all have failure. Fear. Don't I have fear today? 100%. But you gotta ask yourself, what is the most important thing to me? And if I'm gonna let fear overwhelm me, what is that gonna take me? I can be handicapped and sitting at home and feeling sorry for myself because of all my fear. Or I can go out there, face my fear, and provide better life for myself, for my family, for my loved ones. So which route you want to go? they both hurt.
Yeah.
You pick your heart, you know, you pick your hurt.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
All right, let's shift topics a little bit here, because one thing you talked about, social media and marketing and stuff like that. Let's say I'm an agent, been in the business a year or two, and I'm coming to you for some advice on how do I market myself? How do I, I'm still learning the business. What is some tips or things you would give me of like how to go out there and market myself to be more successful?
First of all, get your social media presence, honestly. Like, get your whatever you're comfortable with. Some people, they want to do everything at once. Like we have now TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Get one or two channels and start with that, and make sure that you're like pouring contents, not just once a week or once a month. Like now they say like 3 to 5 times a day you have to post, which is crazy, overwhelming, crazy. But I mean, if you are a brand new agent, you don't have much business.
What else are you doing?
What else? This is part of your business activity. And honestly, like not because I have a team now, but I really, really, really encourage any brand new agents to join a team or a mentor, because they're what they can accomplish in a year or two, it's gonna take them 5 or 7 to accomplish on their own, because the team, they're gonna help you, they're gonna support you, they're gonna expose you, and you're gonna make money and learn in the process. Yes, you're giving some of your money away, but you're getting paid to learn and to get that exposure. So I mean, I tell I wish I had, I joined a team when I joined, even though I had an amazing mentor.
Yeah.
But still, I wish I was on a team, because now I understand kind of like the team, value. And I know what my agents are doing. It's like, go join someone that, it's a good fit for you.
I think it's a lost, there's a mindset gap or a misunderstanding of what running a business truly costs. And so when agents come in and they go, oh, splits, what is this? And then if I'm on a team, I get a split. Well, in the reality, if you're running a really effective business in real estate, your goal is just to try to net or to keep 40%, right? If you have a team and you're doing everything, and I mean, I've been privileged talking to a lot of people. Most of those big mega teams across the nation get nowhere close to that, 25 to 30%.
100%.
So if you're able to come in and all those systems, models, everything's taken care of for you, and you're like, oh, but it's a 50-50 or whatever the splits may be. Like, you don't understand is netting 50% when the business side is taken care of. That's actually really good. If you're to go open up a small business and you're going to sell, what is your markup on these items you're selling? Typically, I mean, not everything, but typically you're not going to make a 50% margin. You're going to be making a 10, 15, 20% margin to try to sell products and stuff like that. So I think there's a gap in people thinking they're as a business owner and people thinking of, I sell a deal, I need my money.
Right.
And if you look past that and think, okay, how's my business going to grow at the highest level? Sometimes leveraging a team's assets and not having to think about, like, I don't know how to set up a system on how to do social media. Oh, but you have already told me this is what I got to do every day. Okay, cool. I could do that. That's easy. And there's a lot of value in that.
Yeah. And the accountability too, the coaching, the accountability, like there's so much, so many things that comes with the team, it's no brainer, like really no brainer.
Yeah.
And is the team's going to make money from you? 100%. But it's like you mentioned, it costs money to run a team and to run an organization and to be a business owner. It's not, and a lot of work too.
Yeah. And it's, I don't think a lot of people see behind like even brokerages as an example, because really a team is just a small brokerage.
It's a brokerage, yeah. 100%.
It's just a brokerage.
Right.
It's all it is. It's just different concepts, how the money's gone. In the olden days, brokerages, I think, were more supportive, and it was a 50-50 split. You earned your way up to do a better deal. You got leads doing floor time. It's very similar to a team nowadays, except it's just things are a little different, right? And I just feel that a lot of times as agents come in and they're so caught up on different things, but the reality is it's very expensive to rent a building. Like, it's expensive. You just go pay the E&O insurance. It's expensive. And there's a lot of behind the scenes things they don't see. And you can't underestimate the value of having those resources when you're new and trying to learn what you're trying to do. And it's not for everybody. There are some agents that make it, and that's great for them. But at the end of the day, it's got to do what's best for you in going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. If you can make it on your own, it's great. And if you want to get the help of a team for a little bit and be on your own, that's totally fine. But I mean, it's a huge value to have some support. Mentor, coach, team, partner, like whatever the case may be, so you can kick it off on a faster start.
And what for you? I know you've done multifamily real estate. You do single family. You've done a lot of different things over the time. What levels of like networking, maybe not in your traditional sense of door knocking or maybe going out and doing different things like I don't know, for example, an investors network or anything like that. I don't know if you've ever been a part of those. Have you ever done anything like that to have any impact in your business?
Yeah, I do a lot of bigger now outside of the country. Not the country, sorry, outside the state. Like I travel for conventions, meeting events, mastermind, and definitely these opportunities bring referrals and bring big big conversations too and bring ideas to the table. So definitely, I mean, networking is huge if you're networking with people who are doing it even on a higher level than you, because you want to be the smallest fish in the pond.
Be the dumbest guy at the
Yeah,
table.
and this is what people do not like. And I was the person who would get intimidated by people who are like, oh my God, who am I to be, sitting with someone who's doing $100 million? Like, why not? Why wouldn't I want to be with the 200 and the 300? Because I want to get there and I want to learn from them, which like we have to change our mindset because we are our biggest enemy. Sometimes like we shoot ourselves in the foot because we think we know it all or, we do not need more.
Yeah.
And, it's just part of how our mind works sometimes. And
speaking of that, you're talking about learning more and learning from these top people in a personal development sense, right? You're networking with some really impressive agents who've grown big businesses and you're learning, but a lot of that's for your personal development. I know you've someone that really been involved in growing as a person and growing in your business. So what kind of advice could you give, or what books or what training or what thing is it, maybe an agent that's looking to really grow their business, what would you recommend would be a good spot to start?
Well, as you know me, Garrett, I'm a biggest fan of working out and getting out there. Like I feel that's my therapy. It's been for so many years. You need to take care of yourself. You have to, because what happens inside of us, it shows from outside. That's, it's given. If something's bothering us, if we're not happy with our weight or we have any issues going on, like we have to take care of it. And, exercise, you don't have to get up at 4:00 in the morning and go work out and kill it. If you go on a walk, on a hike, some nature, whatever the case may be, to kind of like, I mean, we're in a stressful business. Real estate is not. As much as we make it fun and happy on social media, it's not. We have, I mean, it's especially the last few years, it's been crazy. But you have to take care of yourself, read, meditate. Now there's so much things available online, YouTube, like so many podcasts that's like for self-improvement. It's like, I mean, I read a lot. I'm always on YouTube, on Audible. I don't waste my time on hearing music, even though I love to hear music, but it's just, instead of me kind of like just hearing anything, I like to feed my mind with things that's going to benefit me personally and professionally. So definitely reading, like there's so many books out there. One of my favorite book is Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins.
Oh yeah.
I love that book.
Every time I read that book, I'm like, I'm such a wuss. I could do so much more. That guy's crazy.
I know. He's crazy. Yeah. And I have a couple, actually, I wrote them down. It's The Shadow Effect. Oh my God, Debbie Ford. It's a phenomenal book and it takes you like deeper in and within. Okay. So definitely like.
It's called The Shadow Effect?
The Shadow Effect. It's a small book. It's like, maybe if you want to finish it all, it probably will take you a couple hours. It's
really? Those are my favorite type of books.
Yeah. And The Heart of the Soul as well. Oh my God, these two books, a must read. And they came from actually a couple years ago from an amazing coach of mine. And I read them and reread them and reread them.
Really?
Yeah, they're amazing.
Are they more mindset, or are they more, what's the purpose of the books? Are they
they're more mindset. It's like, the emotional intelligence that we feel and then we act on it and kind of like work on you and yourself and what you're feeling. It's not what you put out there and the stuff that happened to us in the past that's leading us to thinking and acting who we are today. Yeah, it's an amazing, those two books, definitely.
All right. Very cool. All right. So as we're wrapping up, because we're getting out of time here, and what is the one piece of advice because 2023 was a shift in a different way, right? We didn't have a price shift. We had a unit shift. Units down drastically over the last few years. Yet you still had growth. You still did well. So what's the piece of advice for the agents that's been maybe middle of the pack, done okay, and this 2023 was kind of difficult for a lot of people? It was. So what kind of advice would you give them for, getting out there and getting back into it, or growing their business during this next year, because we really don't know what it's going to look like?
Yeah. I've said it last year to double and triple on your business, on your activities. I say quadruple on your activities this year, because it's going to be even tougher than last year. We still have low inventory, interest rates still, it eased up a little bit, but not much.
And we'll back up a little bit too. So yeah.
Yeah, and we don't know what's, like you mentioned.
So you're saying 300 doors a day.
300 doors a day. If you were doing 150 calls last year, you need to do 300. If you were doing 300, you need to do 600. And if you really, really want to make it in a high level, I would do 600 and 700.
Wow.
That's, you have to quadruple on your activity this year.
Yeah, talk to 4 people to find maybe one that's interested before. Now you got to talk to 8 to 12 to 16 to find one that maybe is interested.
And dig deeper on your database, and dig deeper on people's lives.
Okay.
And don't come from places just like, I need to sell you today. No, I need to be here for you today. So we can sell you tomorrow or the day after.
Beautiful.
Because the consumers are craving the authenticity that we need to deliver. And we have to be there for them. Like, they're so confused. They're hearing mixed news in the, in media, like whether in the TV or social media, like, I get confused sometimes when I'm in this business. Like, imagine my clients.
Yep.
So you have to come from a place that educate them. And if the sale does not need to happen today, you need to understand and educate them. This is not the right thing for you today. So you can have that clients for life that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, good to hear. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This was great.
Of course.
Any last piece or anything that we left out that you wanted to say?
No, I would just say 2024 is going to be an amazing year for those who want it.
Oh, beautiful. You got to go out there and get it.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much, Rima.
Of course. Thank you.